Hello, everybody. Hello, you awesome people. Welcome to the Friday Friendship Club. What are you going to do to make today great? Hit that thumbs up on your way in and don't forget to share the stream. This is the symbol of the Friday Friendship Club. This is so we can wave and say hello to everybody and we're joined together in a community. Also, as you come into the community chat, you'll be added to our ever-growing friendship tree. This is our friendship tree, our community, joining us together in a positive community. It's to remind you, if someone can't help you when you need it or with what you need, there is always somewhere else nearby on the tree. So let's have a little bit of a look of the tree of friendship. Let me just see. I've forgotten how I take down the banner. Let's just take that down for a minute. That's better. I'm there. So we now have a look at the tree of friendship and have a look at a bit more of what that is about. So thanks everybody for being here. You are awesome and I really thank you a lot for supporting my channel as always. And we're always talking about friendship and community on this channel. So I thought today I'd talk a little bit more about the volunteers. You can have these volunteers from the association work away wherever you live, whatever part of the world you live in, and whatever your circumstances. You might just need them to do little bits of bending and helping you around the house, those kind of things. You might want them to help you with gardening. You might have a kitchen that you need putting in, anything you can't do or would like help with. There are two sides to the work away. One is you do have to state if it's a professional job, as in working for your gain to earn money, such as if you run an Airbnb or a hotel or Gîtes, then you can only have the work away for this if you state it is a full paid job, i.e. it's going to affect your income if they work for you. They cannot be a volunteer for nothing. This is a separate side of things. So let's talk about if you have to pay them first. Volunteers, no. But if you use the Workaway site for a job, as I've stated, where you'll be earning money via their help, then this is a different side to it and you do have to pay them. Now, the rules are to stop you employing them and stopping people in your country gaining work, you have to pay them above the minimum pay in your country. So as I say, if you've got a bed and breakfast or something like that, or if you're picking crops, getting them to pick crops that you'll be selling, then those kind of things, that's the different side to it. And you do have to state on the first information you give that is a full paid job. That aside, the actual volunteering main site of Workaway, I have linked below, so if you're interested, and I've also put my email below. So if you don't understand anything or you want clarification, then do see me and send me an email and I will help you. So the side of the volunteering of Workaway that I speak of is no payment for them. If they help for less than 3 hours Monday to Friday, you don't have to feed them or provide them with any food. So if you're in my sort of circumstances, you have little or no income, and let's say you've got disabilities, or maybe you're just feeling a bit older and can't do things you want to do, you can go and get a volunteer from the Workaway site. Now you can set up a profile if you want them regularly, or set up a profile anyway so they search for you. Or if you're not happy doing that, you can actually just go onto the site and find a volunteer that suits your needs. Some are skilled and professional, some are not, and some just love to learn. They all put a little bit on their profile, volunteers, so you can figure things out. And you do have the back of the Workaway Association as long as all your communication goes only via the Workaway app. So as soon as you start talking separately, as in WhatsApp or any of those strange things, or Facebook, if there's any problems, then Workaway will not have your back. So all communication must be done solely through that site. And as I say, it can be a one-off thing or multiple times. If you're hosting, looking for a volunteer, you do not pay anything to the site to go up on there or to find a volunteer. If you're volunteering, then yes, of course you do. And I'm going to try and find for you a little bit I have to show you, just a real basic thing I have here. So that gives you a little idea of what I offer here. You don't have to put a video up, by the way. Some people think they'd have to put a video up about their volunteering. No, my sister isn't very technically minded. She just went on. I think she had help for fitting the kitchen and pulling some brambles out of her garden. All you do need to offer is obviously a place to sleep, and that doesn't necessarily mean their own independent suite, bedroom, that kind of thing. It literally means a place to sleep, and obviously they need use of a toilet and a shower. And if you keep to under 3 hours help per day, then that's all you need to provide. Do be aware if you are providing food, and only after 3 hours work per day, so only if you're asking 4 or more hours per day, then you can either cook for them, you can share cooking, You can just give them ingredients to cook, or you provide them obviously with everything they need. Do be aware there are different statuses of work away. You can have a one-to-one, you can say couples, or you can have groups. So this is more for people with, say, homesteads and those kind of things. You can have a group. They won't all come together as a group. You can have lots at a time. So make sure they all have their beds. Now, in this instance, a lot of them actually provide like dormitories, and some are actually very, let's say, rustic, as in old bunker houses with lines of beds. I only have a couple at a time, and they must be two known to each other. So if they don't know each other, I only have one at a time. So I have a double bed. So it's up to two people to come as a couple or single. As I say, there's lots of things about it. There's so much to go into. And you might think, oh, right, I just want my kitchen fitted. How many days do I need to book for that? Well, that's up to you. Base it on the hours, and you could actually have it open-ended and say they stay as long as it takes to finish the job. You don't have to say, I need you for a week. If you want to say that, you can. They can be much longer term. If you want them perhaps for an assistance for your house, so you might just need help around the home, that kind of thing, it really can be for anything, then you might want to do it more long term. Remember, it's not a worker on a contract, so therefore it could be on a trial basis. So if you think, well, I'd like them, but how do I know I'm going to get on with them? Well, you could Zoom them first if you wanted to do that. You can look up references of other help they've given in the past on their site. So you can look there and there's about them, where they've been, and you give feedback so you can see that. Or you could say, well, come for 2 weeks or whatever you want to do, and say, but it could be long term if it suits us both. And then it's, as I say, it's not a contract. So at any point, give them notice if they're flying in from another country. But you could say, well, let's do a few more days, sort your flight out back or off to your next location, and we'll leave it there. So that's how you can get, there's no hard feelings on this, because remember, you might worry about doing that, but they can do exactly the same thing. They're not employed. Even if you're doing the paid side of it, they are not paid workers as in a contract job. But in that respect, you can both change your mind at any time, but give obviously a bit of nice notice. If there is an issue and you're asking them to leave for that reason, as I say, as long as you've communicated all the time via Workaway and address the issues, or if they're terrible issues, you are allowed to ask them to leave at once. If they've contravened rules, for example, such as you have to put things like if you want smokers and non-smokers, if they contravene something like that, they have broken the rules, and therefore you can ask them to leave immediately. But as I say, there's lots of ins and outs of this kind of thing, and I have luckily so far had lovely workaways. I think part of it for me is I only ask them to work for 3 hours Monday to Friday. And that's because for me, it's more of a cultural exchange almost. I want them to be able to help me in exchange for the free bed and board, no food. But of course, I want them to go out and about. So it's a very cheap holiday in that respect. So with that in mind, I think because I don't offer the food, because I ask for less than 3 hours help, a lot of workaways that literally want to just come and have the holiday and not really want to help, perhaps, they are going to go to a venue where food is offered. So I think that is actually a good point to say that. Also, by offering food, of course, if you're sharing the meal together, they have to eat at the time that suits you. So I also find that if you were to offer food, they're not really going to want to come back if you eat at 7 o'clock at night, if they want to go out and about and travel. And talking of travelling, if they need to hire a car, that is up to them, as in they pay their transport, their flights to and from your location. So you don't pay for anything at all, other than obviously you've got to clean their room when they go and before they arrive, that kind of thing. Put down in your information if you allow them to use your kitchen or not, which we don't. If you allow them to use things such as a washing machine and so on and so forth, because a lot of them are nomadic travellers, so they may accumulate their washing. So don't be the venue that does all their washing. So just make your rules very clear, sit and write it down. As I say, my link below for the Workaway site, and it takes you to my actual page of how I've written what I've written. That's a good example if you want to go and look at that, and it gives you a bit of an idea what there is on there, what sort of things I put and cover. So there is that. And I want to show you now a video I made on my main channel, New Beginnings, My Everyday Life in Rural Cyprus, telling the story of a couple of workaways that we had here and why they left before they were supposed to. Ooh. So let's show you that. Well, if you've missed any of my updates on my live chats, I will fill you in on the full details. They approached me via the Workaway site and asked me if I would help them relocate to living in Cyprus and find them a potential home or land. I did find them a couple of properties that they could have looked at. Unfortunately, one was such good value that the day before they were going to view it, somebody offered cash for it in order to stop anybody else seeing it. So unfortunately, I didn't get to film that one for you to see. Then speaking with them, they then realised that they would have to actually get a mortgage for the lifestyle that they wanted to continue with. When you buy rural properties here, you cannot get mortgages, but you may be lucky enough to find something in countryside where you can. Andis was a little concerned about staying in Cyprus without finding a job straight away. So I made some more suggestions for them. I gave them 3 ideas which they followed up. They could either go through the Workaway site where you can now find jobs, either temporary, short-term or even permanent, and the rules with Workaway is they must state right at the beginning that they are paid jobs and they must give more than the minimum wage in Cyprus to stop jobs being taken away from local people. The second idea was them to go on the Bazaraki site, a little bit like Craigslist, where you can not only sell stuff and find stuff for free, but you can also find jobs there. So this was something, as Bazaraki is only in Cyprus. And the third option, which they took up, was when they went to local tavernas, bars, restaurants, shops in an area they wanted to live, to let it be known that they were seeking a job. And this worked for them. They not only found a job that they could both do, but it came with their own private house accommodation and a car, which was another of Andy's concerns about the cost of buying or bringing a car into Cyprus. So that went amazingly well for them, and I'm so pleased for them both. So instead of staying us for the rest of their time here before returning back to their home, they then instead went to stay there to try the home, the area and the job, and check they wanted to do it before moving permanently over here to Cyprus. Now the good news is they have been given, after their trial, time to go back, sort their lives out before returning here. and it's not such a mad rush because they are now not having to sell their property because they don't have to buy a property, and their grown-up son is living in that property anyway, so he's going to get a student to come in and live with him and help with the bills there. So there's no mad rush to pack everything up there. So right now they're doing their trial in the new location, and then they will be going back home to get their main things and things they want to bring with them initially. And we really do wish them the best of luck. I am a little bit upset just for the fact that, you know, guys, I love to film an interview with all my workaways, but in the rush, obviously this couldn't be done. But once they're settled, we will be meeting up again, and it will be a different video because rather than interviewing them as workawayers, I want to interview them as being new residents moving to Cyprus, so that will be a pretty good video for you. I also want to get photos emailed from them both of their sidelines. Andis is amazing at woodwork, and I want to share with you all the things he can make, and he does commissions too, so maybe this is something that you would be interested in when you see his amazing work. And Vivita arranges flowers. Oh, they're awesome. They are really great, guys. So these are things I would want to share with you also. So this has ended up being a completely different workaway video, and if anyone else is interested in finding out more about moving to Cyprus, I'm happy to help you relocate. I don't do the bookwork, the paperwork, that kind of thing. I just find you rural locations, not so much town centres, but little villages as well is fine. And this is just to inspire you all, this wonderful story that shows don't just dream it, do it. So enjoy the final pictures, and we truly wish Vivita and Andis the very, very best. And we are their first friends in Cyprus, and we will remain so. So we'll let you guys know how they're going and what's happening in their lives too. Who knows, maybe they'll come on my YouTube channel at some point so you can see how things are going with them. And let us be the very first to welcome them to their new home. Don't forget to leave a comment below, which I know they'll read, giving your best wishes to them. So enjoy the final pictures, and until next time, Meraki. So, some of you might be new to my channel or to me. If you want to check out my main channel, New Beginnings, My Everyday Life in Rural Cyprus, it is linked below this live. But if you are new to my channel and to me, this is where I live. And I'm curious to know where you live. I love it when people comment to me and say, oh, I've got this or do that, particularly those who don't have a channel. I don't know anything about you, and I have so many people that follow either on this channel or my other channel or both. And I'd love to know more about you. If you grow stuff, if you live in a city. The thing I really like to know is if you look out of your window or out your front door, what can you see? So if you want to send me little pictures or even a short video, if you make videos that I could add to this channel, and we'll feature someone every now and then. And I would love to do that. So don't worry if you're not able to make films or edit, anything like that. If you can email me some photographs, my email is below this video, and then I will put them together for you. It would be great if you can obviously give me a little bit of information about where you live and just main things. So here is an example. I just made a little video to give you some idea of what I'm talking about. If you don't know me very well yet, you will soon learn. I love people. I love people that are different and do different things. I don't like people that follow trends and do something because other people are doing it. I like people who do their own thing and try something different rather than dreaming it, doing it. They're the folks I really like. I get that some people can't for one reason or another, and they are people that follow my channel. So I thank you for that. You are awesome. You really are awesome. Each and every one of you has something unique. Don't ever forget that. So you make my day. When I have a bad day, you really do make my day. You make my day go along really nicely. So something else I'd like to share with you today. You might see on this channel my playlist. Do check out my playlist. I've got so much different content on this channel, and the reason for that is my other channel is about my everyday life, but this channel I want something for everybody. So do look at that playlist. It's very mixed up and random, all sorts of things. It's basically anything else that isn't on my other channel, though there's a lot of cross reference, so you'll see things on there as well. So that's a good example. I had Yorkshire Terriers when I lived in England many years ago. We had two first. We had Pip and Paws, and we had them from absolute babies. Obviously, as soon as they could leave their mother, we had them. And I've gone through my old videos of those, yes, videos. Then they got changed into DVDs. Obviously, that's no use for YouTube. So then, bless my husband, Mike, he's converting slowly all the old videos that haven't been changed yet and the DVDs. He's converting them so that I can edit them on YouTube. Obviously, I have to cut out background music and certain things. So I'm editing them. So I've got a whole playlist on Pip and Paws from the very beginning when we first got them. And I'm making them very small segments, so there's not a lot of bits and pieces in the middle. I've edited them and put nice music to some of it. And you can see them from the beginning. And aren't little puppy dogs cute and crazy? They really are. And it will go all the way through from, I've done up to a certain point. So if I can't remember how many episodes, but there's quite a lot there already. And you've got them running around the house like crazies. And one is really sweet. I've just put them to bed in their little basket, an open basket in the lounge. And I was training them to go to bed where I told them to get in the basket. And they go in the little soft basket and they're just settling down like for a little nap I think it's the afternoon, because like little babies, I think they need a little relaxed rest time, calm down, quiet time, and then they can come out and go crazy again. And they were in there, and I've got this on the video. I'm not sure if I've posted it yet or just edited it. I can't remember where I'm up to on posting. And they're laying in the bed, and I've put it's like time for their bed, and they're going to bed, and they're just sitting there all nice and still, and they hear the ice cream van. You know, they play the little tune or the little jingle, and it plays the tune, and they're like, heads up, and they're like, whoa, I'm running around everywhere. So that's really funny. So things like that are on there. And very short episodes. If you're someone who doesn't like to watch great big long videos, it's the series for you. Lots of little short ones, and then you know where you are next time. You just look at the next episode. I have numbered them, I'm pretty sure, so you see the next episode. And as I say, it's going to go through all the footage I've got of them. Obviously, I don't have them anymore. If this was many years ago, and it goes through all their life. Pip actually was in a like dog show. Now, I'm not someone for that sort of thing. It was just a little fun local thing. And they said, oh, can people bring their dogs? Because there's not really many entries. So at that time, they were still quite young puppies. And I don't think Paws was quite happy on her lead at that point, or something. There was some reason we did put her in for it. But Pip always had, Paws had the cute face and Pip had the pretty face. So if you look at the videos, you'll probably catch them. Paws mostly had a more rounder face and Pip had a more showy face, if you like. So we put Pip into that. And I think it was pretty much the first time she was learning commands on the lead. I know they were really young, and she won it. Yes. And I've got a photograph which I'll add when I get to that point in the series, that a dog that won, I don't know if it was biggest dog of the show or something like that. And the press photographer wanted this great big, I don't even remember what dog it is, I'll have to find the picture, great big dog sitting up, and they wanted Pip kind of sitting slightly in front but underneath, sitting there to show the differences. And I've got that, so I'll add that when I get to that one. And don't think Paws was left out, because we had a local newspaper that asked for dogs to be Toto in The Wizard of Oz. And Paws, I thought, would actually be good, because by now she's trained a little bit more, not trained as in trained, but sits and stays, that kind of thing, nothing major. And she would always sit still for ages. If you told her to sit, you'd have to let her go before she would get up and go. So I thought, oh, she could be quite good for this. Anyway, she just won the audition. She didn't even have to perform. I said, well, as long as you want her to be still. I do stage work and musicals and TV and stuff, so I know what they kind of would want. So I said, all I can tell you is she will sit for as long as you want her to sit, pretty much, which I think you want on stage. There'll be times you want her to sit and just wait there. And they just took her. They thought she was adorable. And they said, oh, we're happy for her to have the lead on. I said, she won't need the lead on. But they had the lead for emergencies. And they also had the lead. There was a time when she had to be in, you know, the school teacher or whatever she is, or nosy neighbour, whoever she is at the very beginning of The Wizard of Oz, when they're actually still in Dorothy's home. And she keeps coming, she's nasty and she doesn't like Toto. And she takes Toto away in the basket on her bicycle. And they said, well, we'll put her on the lead there, so that if she went to jump out, we could just hold the lead. And I said, well, she won't need it. Well, in the end, they weren't even using it, because I said, as long as you put a cushion in there and something she's used to. So I asked if we could bring home any of the props she was going to be sitting on or whatever. And she just sat in there. They did put a couple of chocolates in there, dog chocolates, a couple of times. So there was that. And yeah, she did really well. There were two girls that played Dorothy, because obviously for legal reasons, the amount of time of the run of the show, the hours, they had to swap, and both girls absolutely adored her. They really did. And when the run had finished, you know how you give flowers to the performers, the stars at the end, and I actually sent them a bouquet each for each of the girls from Paws, a bouquet from Paws. They thought that was so adorable. And they wrote little cards to her. It was so sweet. They were big girls. They were like, I don't know what they were, 16, something like that at the time. So they were like little girls, obviously, because I had to learn the whole show and it was late at night and everything. And so Paws did that. And yeah, she was fine. I was always worried she'd want to go to the toilet, but no, there was no problems there at all. I just said, don't let all the munchkins were little children. I said, I don't want them sort of while she's backstage and that all over her all the time and everything. I mean, there were times like break times and that, because I wasn't there. And she got paid professional fees, and she got paid all dog food for all the time she was the run of the show. That meant all her food, not just while she was there, obviously. And then from that, she was in, four more, I'd like to say 4 more things that different producers and directors had seen her in it and asked if she could be in their professional productions. She did, I think there was 2 more Wizard of Oz. She did 2 more like other companies. She was in, what's it called? Sweet Charity. She was the dog in Sweet Charity, which isn't a major bit, but they needed a real dog for that. And then sadly, one of the other Wizard of Oz that she was in, they went on tour, and I don't know where it was, if they went lots of places, but I know they were going to Germany. Whether that was the first place or whether it was many places, I don't know. And at that time, there wasn't pet passports and all that stuff. I wouldn't have let her go anyway. So she couldn't go on tour with it. And I said, oh, will you go and find a dog there or what? Oh, no, no dog would be as good as Paws. We'd just use a fake dog. Oh, and in the programs, the show programs, she was in those, and I will include that when I get to that one in the editing and post a video of that, the show program. And you know how they have all the stars, not everyone, they just have the main stars or characters in the musicals, and they write a little profile about each person. They did Paws, and they asked me, we want to do Paws, so they did a picture of her, and they said, would you just write a little something for her profile? So that was really sweet. So again, it's yet again another form of community and friendship and the joy that she brought. And I must say, it was a bit distracting because when Paws first comes on the stage, she came on by herself. Bear in mind, she wasn't trained, but she got to know the girls. And Dorothy holds an actual basket, a wicker basket with a handle. And I said, could we take that home? Because she had to sleep in that at one point on the stage. And we took that home, and she just kept sleeping in it all the time at home. So, so it was very sweet, and it was absolutely lovely, really nice. And I think Paws kind of missed it at the end. Oh, yes, I was saying it was a bit distracting in respect of the first time she walked on stage in each performance. I think Dorothy goes, Toto, Toto, where are you, Toto? And Paws walked on. She was getting the idea of the word Toto, and she just walked on all the way across the stage to Dorothy on her own. And the audience are like, oh, and you hear little children going, Mummy, you're real doggy, and all these things. So it was a bit distracting. Then obviously the performers realised, then don't carry on with your lines. Let's have this moment for a while. And I've got video of the actual shows. Obviously, I won't show the whole show. I was going to say just the bits where Paws comes on, but she was in it a lot. I would say at least a third, if not more, because they thought at first they would just leave her for main scenes where they talk about Toto. Oh no, in the end, they decided they'd have her on pretty much all the time. And then the mum of one of the Dorothys, she was the stage manager. So she's always on the side of the stage. A stage manager always stays stage left at the front, in case you didn't know. And what she did, she made a little basket underneath her, like the podium you have with all the all your running order and that on it. And she made it there, and she stood there. So Paws knew she was there, and she knew Paws was there, but she wasn't blocked in or anything. But that was like her little rest time. So yeah, it was really lovely. So that was really awesome, really nice. So let's just do a little thank you to you guys. A big thank you. And I think I'll just show you again now I've spoken of Pip and Paws. I'll show you what I showed you at the beginning with Pip and Paws, so you can just see her now. Let's find Pip and Paws there. So you can really see how cute she really is there, can't you? So really sweet. She's lovely. And Pip as well. Pip was an absolute darling. So both really lovely dogs. And yes, keep watching the series. When I get to it, I go all the way to them having pups of their own. And if you want to see newborn pups, that's the one for you. So we're going to finish it there today. I was a bit distraught today. I lost all my footage the last 2 days of my volunteer that's come this time. I've just lost it all. It's like, I can't believe it. So let's just have a thank you. And thank you very much for being here. Goodbye to my community, and hope to see you on my other channel. As I say, it's linked below, and hope to see you there. Bye guys. Thanks so much for being here.